In this era of grave spiritual crisis, it is not enough to simply know about your Catholic faith. That is why we need a Catholic toolbox to equip us with the practical skills necessary to live our Catholic faith to reach our ultimate goal, which is heaven for all eternity. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for the Catholic Toolbox as we hand you the tools to go forth, live the faith, and change our modern world today. Live on the Voice of Charity. Welcome back to another week on the Catholic Toolbox, the art of practical Catholicism. I'm your host and founder, George Manassa, here as we equip you with practical tools to live your faith in our modern world of today. And today especially, we need to speak about work and sanctifying work. And that's why I brought in a good friend of mine here to the studio, Dr. Ian Kwan. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks very much, George.
It's great to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You're looking really sharp. I like your jacket and... You're
not too bad yourself, mate.
Trying to trim down and look as good as you.
Yeah, Slim George now.
But what are we talking about today?
Well, the thing is, I work with, I'm a university lecturer, and I work a lot with youth. Yeah. I've been dealing with young people for a long time, and I'm interested to help them, and especially as a Christian. I'm a convert myself, and so as a university student, and I sort of know the challenges. I mean, we've all, in a sense, many of us have all been through it, but I see lots of, in dealing with young people, lots of challenges that they have, yeah, and lots of temptations that they have. They have lots of choices they need to go through, and there's sometimes taking the easy way out, or sometimes taking the hard way, the wrong way out.
Struggle.
Okay,
it's a real struggle.
So that's.
And tell us a bit about yourself. You are a lecturer in the area of finance.
Yeah, that's right.
So people think about lecturers and finance, and it's all about money.
Yeah.
Where did your interest in the youth come from? And tell us a bit about yourself for those listening who don't know you or haven't heard you before.
Well, I mean, I got involved with. I'm actually an engineer.
Oh yes.
So I studied electrical engineering at university, and I graduated as an engineer from University of New South Wales. And during that time at university, that's actually when I met the faith people, and I actually became a Catholic at that stage. And
wow. And
it was through that process of understanding the faith. And then I also, at the same time, met Opus Dei. Yeah. I'm a member of Opus Dei. Yeah. And at that...
Is that Warrain College?
That's right, at Warrain. I was living at Warrain at that time, and that's how I met people of Opus Dei, and they introduced me to the faith, and that really changed my life. Wow. And it's a university residence.
Mm. And you live there?
I live there.
That's amazing. Okay. And so you live there. And how did you find Warrain? Was it just a good option because it's close proximity to campus?
Obviously, it's on campus.
Is it cheaper?
I wouldn't say it was. It was certainly cheaper then. Yeah. I mean, it was certainly affordable then. Yeah. These days, the fees are. Yeah. The fee to live there is it's almost a privilege to live there if you like any of these places. But anyway, the point is that through that process of living there, I met the faith, and later on I worked as an engineer, And then for various reasons, I went on and I came back to university and studied an MBA, Master of Business Administration. That's where I discovered finance, and so now all the mathematics that I was learning in engineering sort of helped me. And then, so I got into finance after finishing my MBA. I actually had an opportunity there. I went to work in Taiwan, where I worked in venture capital. I worked
not
as
in the semiconductor chips.
Well, not so much in in investing in semiconductor chips.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, not the engineering of.
Not the engineering side.
That's amazing. That's. So you're a real intellectual.
Well, I wouldn't say intellectual in the sense that I mean in the sense I do like to think about things, and certainly more technical type problems and solving problems, because as an engineer, that's what you do. And anyway, so through that process of working in finance, and also later on, I actually went to Hong Kong. So I lived for almost 8 years in Hong Kong, and actually was working in a school there. Okay, starting first as an administrator of the school, and then later on becoming a teacher. So the headmaster said, "Why don't you give teaching a go?" So I was a bit bored, and that's how I sort of fell into teaching, and sort of the idea of being. Then I actually fell in love with teaching at that stage. And it's through that process of working with youth, and then later on, for various reasons, I went and studied a PhD. Okay, I did a PhD, and through that in finance, and I started to teach university students. Okay, so it was, as a PhD student, you also get a chance to run tutorials, teach classes, and stuff like that, and then that's where I really started to get involved with youth. So that was some 15 years ago now.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, engineering is a way of thinking. Harry, once you're an engineer, always an engineer.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. And,
absolutely.
And, engineer myself.
all the stuff that I learned about coding and that sort of stuff has helped me even now.
Principles and design, and you just take it no matter what field you move into. There's so many engineers I know, including myself, that moved into other fields, but you can see the way that they work in that particular field in a very systematic way, in a very structural and systematic way, and you carry that through. Once an engineer, always an engineer.
Absolutely.
Engineering is a way.
Well, it's a way of thinking.
It's a way of thinking, and you carry that.
Well, same thing with finance. It's a way of thinking as well. You see things in a different way. How. Maybe
you could do finance better. Once you're an engineer.
I think so. It's certainly structure things better, and you try to explain things in different chunks, and and you try and tell a story behind what you're doing. That's precisely how I teach my students to do that. So,
Ian, could we find God in the midst of all this money making and finance and investing?
Well,
can God be found there? Really?
Absolutely. It's because money is neither good nor evil.
It gets a bad rap.
But certainly when people are greedy, it's not the money that makes them evil, it's the greediness that makes the money evil.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So that's why ethics and teaching people how to think in terms of moral good and that sort of thing, for the service of others, these are really, really important. But that side of thing, I mean, we teach these things, we try to teach these things to our students, but what really, you need to go deeper than that. It requires having a much deeper core and having a value system. That's why the faith that I learned while I was a university student has really served me and continued to grow. And what I try to do is bring my faith into my work as well. And that's really what the sort of the thing that I try to help my students with.
That's amazing. It's just amazing listening to how you came to the Catholic faith through the college that was on campus.
Absolutely.
It's just absolutely amazing by living there and being around people. I hear so many stories. I have so many friends who've come to the Catholic faith through university chaplaincy, through good friends, through maybe something on campus, whatever means it was, that introduced them to the faith. And as Cardinal Pell said, I don't know if he said this, I won't quote him on this, but he always believed in university chaplaincies or presence in some capacity at universities for us doing apostolate. Because it's not at school that so many people make a decision to stay in the faith. It's not later in life. It's usually in that formative year. That's where you make those decisions. When you're at university, your first year uni, you're partying, you're making friends, you finally cracked out of school, and who you hang out with and who influences you there can really shape you. So it's really important work that you do and an interest that you've taken in universities. And
the reason why is because you are, for the first time, living away from home.
Yeah.
You're legal, you can drink, you can drive, okay? And you can actually go and, if you have a job, you've got money in your pocket for the first time.
Yeah.
You can spend it on however you want. You don't necessarily have to give anything to your parents.
Yeah.
And even more so, after you've graduated, finished your uni, and you start working. That is when you've got even more independence.
Yeah.
And you start to, you've left home. You don't really need any scholarship from mum and dad anymore, and you start to make it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is, if you like, when you can really grow as a person, and you make choices that can determine the future of direction, because you're really in control of your life at that stage. So that stage between graduating and, say, 5 years after graduation, that sort of young professional age is so crucial to the development of your faith and the direction of your life.
But when you're at uni, it's just a whole nother ball game.
Absolutely, totally.
You just go with the flow. You crack out of school and the pressures of school and the confined 50 people. That, because I went to a school that we were eventually 46, 48 people we ended up with. So you're just confined to these people. Now you have so many different societies. You have so many different clubs. You have socialist groups. You have conservative groups, political parties, and it's this university. It just connects you with so much, and
so it becomes
it
becomes a bit of a supermarket.
Yeah.
Okay. But you need to choose, and I mean, at the end you only have 24 hours in the day, 7 days a week, and you've only got certain amount of resource. You have to study. You have to, if you want to get through uni, you've got to do the minimum, at least.
Especially in engineering.
Absolutely.
It's maybe not like the arts,
No, the arts.
A lot more demanding with labs and everything.
Yeah,
else,
absolutely.
It eats up your time.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So let's go in and let's open the toolbox and let's speak about the importance of youth and sanctifying work. What do you have to share with us today again?
Well, I guess the first thing is, what do I mean by sanctifying work? Or what does we mean? What do we mean by sanctifying work? Sanctifying work is not like incense and bells and going to mass all the time and praying and getting down and praying the rosary, all of which are good. Okay, mind you, all of the things which I do. Okay, sanctifying work is about being a really good professional. Okay. First and foremost, I guess you can think of it. I think of it in terms of the ordinary things that a professional would do, the extraordinary things that a professional would do, and the supernatural things that an ordinary a young professional could do. And when it comes to sanctifying your work, you have to, how do you bring all three of these things together? So the first one, ordinary things. So, I mean, okay, you were an engineer. You said you worked as an engineer as well. You need to put a design together. You need to make sure that certain things are done. All the measurements, all the dimensions, and so forth. Then you need to go and make sure that when they actually build the thing, that all the things, you have to make sure all those things are done well.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to go to your meetings on time. You got to treat other people respectfully. You have to you've got a budget that you need to fill. All those things that a good professional would expect.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the ordinary things.
Yeah.
Okay, at least and those are things you get paid for. And now, what about the extraordinary things? So this is where it starts to come. Your faith as a Christian comes in. The extraordinary things is when you're asked to do stuff that you just maybe don't like.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Those tasks everybody
Yeah,
doesn't enjoy.
You don't like it, or
writing
maybe
that report.
or maybe you've got to your boss wants it a certain way, and you say no, I don't really agree with that, and but you do it anyway.
You have to work with somebody in the workplace.
Yeah, or you have to put up with someone's shoddy work. Okay.
Yeah.
And
we all go through.
So the extraordinary things that you need to do is okay. This is where, instead of complaining, I say, okay, I want to do this because this is what I think. It's just, as a Christian, I'm going to keep my cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to not get angry. I'm going to think of this person as someone I need to respect and love, as Christ would respect. He even respected the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
Yeah.
Okay, he treated them with respect. That's what we have to do, with a lot of charity. That's, if you like, the extraordinary things. Whereas someone who maybe doesn't have so much faith, well, they won't go to that. They won't see the reason for going to that extra step. Okay, so our Lord talks about if you're asked to carry the bag, don't carry it for 1 mile. Carry it the extra mile. If you
go that extra mile.
Go that extra mile. If you get hit on the left cheek, well, okay, show the right cheek as well. Okay, that is the extraordinary thing. Okay, going that extra mile, doing that extra thing because, hang on, this is, as a Christian, I want to bear witness to my faith.
Yeah. Okay,
and only someone with faith, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Christian faith. Okay, it can be other faiths have this sort of work ethic and this treating people well, and
human virtue.
It is human virtue, but it's more than just human. There's something spiritual about it.
So what we're taking is human virtue, and we're trying to elevate it to the supernatural level.
Exactly, but that's the next step.
Inspired by our faith, by grace.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the extraordinary stuff that I'm talking about.
So we better pray to get that grace.
Yes,
so we can elevate our...
But the supernatural thing, so I said there are 3 things.
Yes.
The supernatural thing is now, this is where you have to understand, why am I doing this? Yeah. Okay? You're doing this, okay, the extraordinary things, you do it because you're a Christian. But now the extraordinary thing is when what you're doing is you're offering that up to God. You're saying, hey, this is not just something an extra mile I'm doing because I'm trying to be a good person and trying to imitate Jesus Christ, but I'm actually, hang on, this is something that I'm giving to God the Father. Wow. So when for example, I work a lot with Excel. Yeah. Okay. So working on Excel, you're putting together the sums and the rows and the columns and stuff like that, with the formulas and stuff.
You're not using AI, are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm getting there, mate. Getting there. And something I'm trying to get my students to also, they have to learn how to do it before they get the AI to do it. But
that's anyway, what they tell you.
Yeah, that's right. So the point here is now where that work that you're doing is actually something that you're doing for God. You realize, hang on, okay, I could do it really shoddy, and I could just write that email and just send it and just not worry about. But you're doing things perfectly, doing it well, doing it for love. when you talk to that person that you find annoying, you say, look, okay, yeah, sure, you treat that person, you do the extraordinary thing, but the supernatural thing is, hey, this person is a son or daughter of God as well. And that interaction that you have with them becomes I would even go to say a type of prayer, of interaction. You're actually turning that meeting or that work that you're doing at that time with that person into an encounter with our Lord. So that's what I mean by turning into something supernatural. Okay?
Wow. So we can turn our work, our secular work, and I was telling John before the show, sanctifying your work.
Exactly.
Taking work, secular job, and then elevating it to a supernatural level. All good, John? So he's going to sanctify dealing with me now.
Yeah. So
that's a good one.
So the idea really is going further than just doing good and doing being a nice person, which is all great. That's the extraordinary stuff.
Yeah.
First as a human, very ordinary, then the extraordinary, but it's making it supernatural. And the supernatural requires you to put that intention there. Why am I doing this? For the love of God.
So we're doing a few things. We're doing our job, right, which is what our job description is, or a day-to-day task. And we're trying to do it on a human level. So we're doing our, it could be writing reports, or you could be a receptionist at a medical receptionist. You have tasks to do, or you're a doctor, an engineer, a mum at home. You're trying to do it on a human level.
Absolutely.
Well. You're trying to do it well with more attention, more perfection, not taking any shortcuts. You're trying to do it well there and then. But also you're trying to add a extra layer on top, which is the supernatural. You're trying to offer it for an intention. So you're trying to do it well and then trying to elevate it to the supernatural level.
So this is exactly the point. This is exactly why, like I was sort of saying, it's not like you're going to Mass and praying the Rosary all the time, but in the sense it is. Okay? Because when we go to Mass, what do? You go to offer up your sacrifice to God. And that's what your work becomes, an offering up to God. In that sense, you're turning, without, the idea is to turn your work into something that God will be happy with. That is what is supernaturalizing. And then it's in the end, like going to Mass, it's not we who supernaturalize. It's not the priest who supernaturalizes. It's God who comes down and he's the one actually lifting it up. So the supernatural side is not in that sense. We do our 10 cents, we do our bit, but it's God that turns it into something supernatural.
That's absolutely fantastic, because there's a temptation there to do that humanistic sort of temptation where we could say, oh, well, I'm going to do my task well, I'm going to be a good worker, a good professional. On a human level, that could be great. But God's not taking control, God's not elevating it to the supernatural level. You're just being a perfectionist.
Exactly.
You're being a workaholic perfectionist.
Exactly.
Which there are a lot of good people that do it, because they want to advance professionally, they want to make more money. We're trying to do our work well, perfection, but there's an intention behind it. To doing it for love of God, and we're trying to elevate it to the supernatural level. We're trying to do our work well on a human level.
Well, it's God that elevates it, you see.
But God that elevates it.
Yeah. But we have to be the ones that, hang on here, we're doing our part. And the intention is there. God, you take it now.
That's a fantastic concept. Who came up with it?
Well, this is really the it's not that in Opus Dei or Saint Josemaria, who is the founder of Opus Dei, he didn't actually come up with the concept. He's really trying to teach him.
Who is Saint Josemaria Escriva, for those who haven't heard of Opus Dei? Or
okay, so Saint Josemaria Escriva, he was a Spanish priest, born in 1902, and in 1928, he received an inspiration from God.
On a retreat, I think.
During a retreat.
Wow.
During a retreat. A retreat by himself, mind you. He wasn't doing it with anyone else. He was doing it by himself.
And he had like a vision.
He had a vision. And the vision was that he wanted ordinary people, although he was a priest, but the thing is he was being used as an instrument to bring the message that anyone, ordinary people, you don't have to be like he was, a priest, or you don't have to be like a religious or a nun or a bishop or anything like that to be holy. That anyone, married, single, everyone is called to be to holiness,
including managers,
and including stockbrokers, and including
university professors,
sound engineers.
Yeah, you're called to be holy. It's a remarkable concept. So, in that vision, did he see all sorts of workers? Do we have any document about that?
I mean, St. Josemaria, he saw that Opus Dei, or the message of Opus Dei. Opus Dei in Latin means the work of God.
Yeah. Wow.
So the idea is that
Opus Dei, Operatio Dei.
That what the work that we do, we turn into our work of God.
Wow.
Okay. So it's not only that Opus Dei is like an institution, the church, and so forth, but Opus Dei, there is a real intrinsic idea that what we do, we turn into a work of God.
And
God
that's
turns
for, that's
that
for
God.
Everybody.
That's for everyone.
So this is not just a call for people in Opus Dei. Mm-hmm. This is a call for everybody.
That's right. Exactly.
This is a call for everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody's called to
so whatever work that you do, whatever work that you do, whether it be working as a nurse, or working as a doctor, or working as a admin staff, or cleaner, janitor, farmer, whatever, as long as if it's a
mum.
Or a mum, that's a very, very good profession. That you can sanctify.
So everything can be sanctified, and he saw everybody trying to find holiness, whatever profession that they were in that vision. Because I think the church at the time was it was sort of culturally more clerical. Unless you're a priest, unless you're a monk. You can't achieve holiness. Not that that was true, but I think that...
Well, a lot of people believe that the only way to really become holy was to serve the church,
cease distractions from the world.
To sort of leave the world, that somehow getting married and raising a family and working
is a distraction from
is
holiness.
a distraction, or even a second-class type job.
Yeah.
Compared with being a priest or being a bishop or that sort of thing.
And it was this idea that we want to that we have to leave the world to find holiness, but rather no, we're called to be in the world. We're called to be in the cities.
Exactly.
At the ASX, in your profession, on the
as
job
a politician,
everyone is called to holiness, and to whatever the ordinary circumstance, they're called to sanctify that and turn that into the work of God.
Exactly.
And become saints.
Exactly.
Literally saints.
Exactly.
I mean, we think of St. Charbel, we think of the Desert Fathers, St. Therese of Lisieux, St. Francis. The same saint who's in heaven can be a doctor, a lawyer.
Correct.
And we have lay saints in the church. Mm-hmm. We have had lay saints before the Second Vatican Council, and especially now the Universal Call to Holiness. The Second Vatican Council beautifully identified everyone's call to holiness, the vocation and the universal call to holiness. Everyone's called to become a saint. Everyone is called. And they reaffirm that beautifully. And I think that's where greater awareness now of lay people to understand that, hey, I don't have to be a priest to get to heaven.
Being priest is very important, very good.
If that's your vocation.
If that's your vocation, exactly.
But majority of us are lay people.
Exactly.
We're not religious. We're not lay people. And so, no, we're not religious, we're not priests, we are lay people.
That's right.
And we have to accept that vocation and the fact that we are all on the path to sainthood.
Absolutely.
We have to accept that. I think when I had a reversion back to the faith, people would say to my mum often, they'd say to my mum, is he going to be a priest? Is he going to be a priest? And I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Okay.
I didn't like the sound of that.
Oh, yeah?
Just because I was living my faith and I was trying to pray and go to mass and took my faith seriously. Does it mean I'm called to be? Is it everyone supposed to do this anyway? That was my shock reaction. But I think with the circumstance, mass attendance and everything else, people just when they see someone religious, they think, oh, is he going to be a priest? But no, everyone's called to holiness. So the youth, continuing on, the youth are very important, and university students and young professionals.
The youth are very important because of the fact, I'm talking especially when you're now sort of independent of your parents.
Yeah.
You can start working, you've got money in your pocket, you've got decisions, and this is the phenomenon that all young people will face, is that they have their profession to think about, their career, what they need to, how they earn their living, what they're going to do in terms of contribution to society.
Yeah.
The second thing is relationship. Okay, so they're looking for a wife, looking for a husband, looking for a girlfriend, and just the whole idea of love, human love, pure, good human love. Yeah. And this is also can be a very traumatic time for people. Okay? Finding the right person or not being able to find the right person, falling in love and falling out of love.
The single life,
huge thing. And the other area is just you can call it material wealth. Okay, material wealth, whether it be finances, maybe you want to invest in the stock market, or you should buy your first apartment or property or house or whatever, and you're thinking, how can I become at least materially independent, financially independent? Okay, and all these things, and then add to that, who am I in terms of your faith?
Big question.
Okay, who am I? What are my values? And so this mix of things for young, if you can call him a young professional, makes these people very, in some ways, unstable, but at the same time, it's a very, very exciting time of your life. You've got so many options and choices you make, and many temptations to go in different directions. And so the idea is, how do we navigate these things? Career. How do I choose? Should I do? Which course should I take? Which subject should I take in the course? Should I have taken this one? This job offer comes, or maybe I don't get any job offer, especially now because the economy is down.
That must have been your problem. Where do I take my brains?
And that's true. I mean, I as you know, I changed my from being an engineer to going to finance. Okay,
Too
and then
stressful.
Working in venture capital now. I'm teaching finance. So I mean, gee whiz.
Yeah.
I mean, so these sorts of career change decisions is quite traumatic. Okay, I don't want to make the wrong choice and make me waste all the things that I've done.
Yeah, and you studied it. And everything.
I've wasted 2 years of my life. So this is, if you like, the message that I want to help give to young people, especially young Christians.
Yep.
This is where having faith gives you stability. Okay?
Wow.
Having faith gives you stability. Because it's about that. Firstly, you need to have a prayer life.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with our Lord. That you pray, that you reflect. That you also have a community of people that you can help. That you can go to help, to have support. I mean, we are human beings. We're social beings. We need that support. And so, having people that have the faith and support you in that faith will help you navigate these different areas of your young life, so that you find that support in things of career choice. You find that support in terms of relationship, finding the right girlfriend, finding the right boyfriend. Okay, because if you get with the wrong person, with different values, different ways of seeing things that are contrary to your faith,
very consequential. Yeah.
leads you literally down a garden path. Okay, and so, and then the area of finance. I mean, just property. I mean, we can get so fixated. Oh, I need to be financially independent, and then, then we want to, but then at the cost
We want
of,
to be rich.
you want to be rich. Exactly. We're pursuing the riches of the world.
It's not just the Lebanese or the Chinese in you. You want to be rich.
You want to be rich. So all of these things I see in the young people that I work with. Okay, they're all. I mean, I'm dealing with university students. Okay, so they're smart people. They're ambitious, but sometimes they're not having faith can mean you're blown by the wind by whichever way the trend is going, and that's, as a Christian, as someone who has faith, we can, in that sense, buck the trend. Okay, we go against the wind, we go against the trend. But it's why do we do this? And this is why having a prayer life, that's why having a deep interior life will help you to navigate the storms of career, love, and finance, if you like. Okay?
Because God has a plan for you. God has a plan for every single person. And in that plan, we have to tune into his frequency, essentially. There's
Absolutely.
a frequency we've got to catch.
Exactly.
Tonight, it's 17:01 a.m. We have to tune into the frequency, or if you're tuning in through Radio Maria, hello to those listening and any other platform. We have to tune into the frequency, and you have to do some work, right, to wire your receptor or to the frequency. Otherwise, if we're not hearing the sound, we can just follow any direction with the wind of life.
Absolutely.
There's so many temptations.
Maybe there are lots.
Purity is a big problem for young people, especially uni students.
Absolutely. Pornography, drugs.
All people
just
want to do
gambling.
Drink.
All of these, alcohol. All of these problems.
Especially uni students, everyone wants to drink and party, and especially impurity, at universities. That's a real big problem, and you can get swept with that. If you're going to a lecture and you're an engineering student, and your mates want to go out to a party, and it's the occasion of sin, what do you do? Apart from joining the Catholic Society, or
so this is where having faith, and it's not about running away from this. Okay, in a sense, we shouldn't go to stupid things. Shouldn't go to occasions of sin, but it's like our faith is not there to put. It's not a shell to hide under.
Exactly. Yeah, because that could be the wrong attitude.
Yeah,
we're just trying to shun the world, and we throw the baby out of the bathwater and say, "Well, I don't want to hang out with these people at all," instead of trying to, attend wholesome things. Maybe not the partying, with over drinking and everything, but try to. If you're tuning into God's frequency, try to bring them to Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're commanded to do.
Exactly.
Use that as an opportunity.
Exactly. I mean, that's why our Lord said, I have not come to save, to cure the sick, but to cure those. Sorry, not come to cure those who are healthy, but cure those who are sick. And so that's what we as Christians are. We are Jesus Christ. We have to have that deep interior life, that deep love of God, and then through being with those people, being in amongst the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and amongst in our Lord's case with the prostitute that he helped to come back to living a good life, people who lived in that sense bad lives.
Yeah. Tax collectors,
sinners, all those, exactly.
Sinners.
So these are sorts of, not that with this necessarily our job, but if we find ourselves in that sort of situation,
or we have uni student friends, or
exactly,
any sort of situation,
what is going to save you is your love of God, your faith, and having a deep faith will be that beacon of light to help guide you in those situations. Okay, and so knowing how to sanctify your work. Doing your work well, the ordinary things, the extraordinary things, but very, very importantly, the supernatural things, helps you develop the virtue to withstand those temptations that come at sometimes the most inopportune times.
Because if you think about it, if you're a good student that's actually smart and studies, or you've graduated university and now you're a good professional, the people that you encounter that may not be Christian or may not share your values, if you do a good job and you grow in what St. Josemaria calls professional prestige, by doing the right sequence of events, doing your work well, professionally, growing professionally, doing a good job, having a regular prayer life, which infuses grace inside of you so that you could do a good job and then offer it up and elevate it to a supernatural level. So it becomes the work of God, essentially. You're not just going to work for another day and earning money and clocking in overtime and
all of which is good.
All of which is great.
It's okay.
You're actually working, you're doing it well, you're bettering society on a human level, but you're also offering it up. You're actually getting grace, so you're praying. So your workday becomes prayer. It can be offered up. That's a different way to think about things. Instead of saying, oh, you get the Monday morning blues, it's work again. There's an opportunity here to better the world, better yourself, and offer up prayer, which is our work. We elevate it to the supernatural level. And then when people at work or university or whatever, if you volunteer for a charity or an organization or whatever context this can be applied to, which is your day-to-day life, when you do well, when you naturally pray and have a prayer life and you're doing your work well, marry it together, it's a work of God, what happens to the people around you? Do they notice something or?
Well, we don't do this in order to be noticed.
Okay.
We do it. We don't do it this way in order to be noticed by those people. We do it in order to please God. Okay? He's the most important one. He's the protagonist in yours. He's the one that we're doing this for. And then naturally, if we're doing it well, others will see us. Okay? We should be doing this even though if in our own room, we're working away, doing our own work. And I was telling you, I work with Excel spreadsheets all the time.
Yes.
I'm working on documents all the time. Well, if you're in your room by yourself, working from home, you work with the same rigor and professionalism as if you're with someone else.
Because you're doing it for God.
You're doing it for God.
You're working for God. You're not there to get recognized.
Well, you get recognized in the human sense. Because you need to deliver you've got certain things you need to give to your client, your customer. You've got certain goals that you need to meet. Well, those are the deliverables that you need to meet because that's your job. That's the ordinary stuff that you need to do. Okay. But then it's the extraordinary stuff that, dealing with that person that's annoying. Talking, not losing your patience with that person who's
extraordinary stuff that requires extraordinary.
Yeah, it's extraordinary patience because you're just trying to be a good person.
Yeah, and grace.
And many people can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, but then going even further, which is that supernatural thing, is saying, hang on, I'm doing this for God. I'm realizing that this work I have to offer up to God, and God is watching me, and He's the one I'm pleasing.
God is watching me.
Yes.
So you could be working from home, in your pajamas from home, like everybody, and then now they want to force people back into the office. A lot of people aren't happy about that. But
in some ways, it's good too.
It's good to get out. Yeah. I think working from home a lot myself. I like getting out and seeing clients. It's a nice day. Just to be at home and then get out and see some people and come back. It balances your day. But God is watching. That's the main point. That you're doing it for God. Yeah.
That's because He's watching. He is the one that sanctifies it. Okay. He's saying, "Wow, this is good." Okay. When God says, "I accept this. I accept this work that you're doing. I accept this Excel spreadsheet that you're writing. I accept this." Invoice that you just sent off to your client as a work.
Detailed.
Yeah.
Putting in detail.
Then that is how that work is sanctified.
Exactly.
Okay?
And
because we've offered it.
You've done it for God, and you've done a good human job.
Exactly.
So you've done the work of God, and it can be offered up.
Exactly.
It can be offered up for somebody who's dying, who's sick,
exactly.
for your family, for your friends.
So that's how you pray for people.
That's amazing.
through your work.
But that's not a substitute for your rosary, your regular routine.
No, exactly,
prayer.
exactly.
Because you can't, because 1 Peter 3:15 is something which resonates with me often, and it says this, and I quote, "Sanctify the Lord Jesus Christ in your hearts, and always be ready to give an apologia, or a defense, for the hope that lies within you." So sanctify the Lord Jesus Christ in your heart first. That's through a regular routine of prayer, rosary, mass, some mental prayer, having that conversation with our Lord, the Angelus. It could be small things that you build up and have a routine of prayer. Doesn't have to be elaborate to start with. And then because we're infused, God's grace is being, sanctifying grace is being infused in us, we can then go to work and work on a better human level.
Absolutely.
And we can elevate that. If we don't have a prayer life,
you won't understand what's all this offering stuff about, offering to God. If you don't have a prayer life,
you don't see the value.
You don't see the value. You don't see the reason why. And that, I think very, very, like most things we do, we have to understand why. The why is probably the most important question we need to ask.
Someone tests your patience at work. If you're working in administration and maybe at a university or something, and somebody comes and tests your patience, maybe a student or somebody else, you could lose it,
Yeah.
But maybe that extraordinary work that you were speaking about, go that extra mile, have that little bit of patience because you did your prayer in the morning. Helps you have that better patience because you have a purpose why you would be, you still be calm and still carry out your work professionally and not just shrug somebody off or lose your cool. And then we can offer that up.
And when we offer that, that's when it becomes sanctified.
Yeah.
Because God then can accept this offering that you're offering to Him. If you didn't make that offering, God will be like, can I take this or not? He's going to be stealing it from you.
Wow.
Okay?
That's amazing.
You have to offer it to Him.
That's amazing. We always hear offer it up, offer it up, offer it up. Well, this is a way we can actually offer it up. We offer up our work, our day-to-day tasks.
Exactly.
By having a routine of prayer, sanctify the Lord in our hearts, and then by following what you just said, and it's crucial to really learn it at an early age. At
Absolutely.
University,
that's why
as young professionals.
Young professionals is where you need to start learning these things because you're now independent. You've got to make your own decisions. You've got your love, career.
It's a crucial time. And this is why, and I give a lot of credit, because to university chaplaincies and the great work that Warrain do, in formation on campus. Any sort of person doing some kind of an apostolate or something on campus is crucial. And Cardinal Pell saw that. Very important. That's why he invested a lot in university presence because, that's where different ideologies try to push themselves. You have different liberal, progressive ideologies, all sorts of ideologies, political is there, and people make up their mind, and it's set at universities, and lots of conversions happen at universities.
Absolutely.
Many friends
in my case, that's what happened.
Like your case, you wouldn't be Catholic if
exactly.
it wasn't for their presence on campus and the crucial role that they did. And I just want to refer people to, we did an episode before on professional prestige. And that's and for those who are listening here today, if you want to go back in our podcasts, find Professional Prestige with Dr. Ian Kwan. We did a good one because the reason I mentioned that here now is because we spoke about doing a good job and getting to a level where you develop a rapport or a prestige that you're a good worker, not for yourself, but you're offering it up for God. But people somehow notice it. They notice this guy doesn't lose his cool. This guy, I'm not talking about me, Maybe you, taking the break.
George, not too bad, not too bad. Give you a tick there.
I try my best, I hope no former colleagues are listening. Or business partner or anything. But they see this person, he doesn't lose his cool. He someone's stuck behind in some work. He'll step out of his role to just help them out in a detailed way. He's very nice. He comes in on time. He's very detailed. he ducks out maybe for 30 minutes at lunchtime. I don't know where he goes. Maybe he goes to mass.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he doesn't engage in the impure talk, you know, the men, you know, the boy discussion. There's something different about this guy. People notice. So you essentially are evangelizing or doing apostolate.
Absolutely.
And people respect you because you're an amazing worker.
So professional prestige, in that sense, is not something that we do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Professional prestige has to be an instrument by which we serve others. Okay, so if you're, for example, the best in you're into logistics, and people know that going to George Manassa, he's going to give us not only a good deal, but he's going to charge a bit more money than others.
Yeah.
But you know that he's going to get the job done because when he says you'll do it, it gets done. And that's the sort of attraction you have because, hang on, when he says he'll do it, you don't need to second guess him. So that sort of prestige, and prestige is something like honey that attracts a bee.
Yeah.
It has to be for the service of others. It has to be
Exactly.
ultimately for the service of God. And so when we develop professional prestige, we have to turn it into something, hang on, people are coming to me for my expertise. But we have to use that as a way of, hang on, serving those people better.
Yeah.
Doing a really good job. And it's sort of, in that sense, professional prestige feeds on itself.
Yeah.
Because you do a good job, more people come. You do a good job, even more people come.
Yeah.
And so it just grows. And this...
People respect you.
Yeah,
the
people
level
respect
of
you.
respect,
Exactly.
that's that prestige.
Exactly.
And we can use that and to glorify God through maybe people might ask us about our faith.
Exactly. So you talk about you try and deal with them as more and more as really good, not just as clients but as friends, as people that you want to get to help them in their lives.
And that's a means by which we can bring people to Christ.
Absolutely.
We have a command to bring people to Christ, to evangelize. Matthew chapter 28 verse 19 through 20, we have to bring people to Christ. We can't keep this to ourselves. And our day-to-day work, which everybody goes to work, everybody has some kind of occupation, whether they stay-home mum. Everyone has work or volunteer work or something, or day-to-day circumstances that they can sanctify and look at in a different dimension. And by doing it well and the people around us develop a prestige, we can start to talk about Christ. Because they have that level of respect. You know, when you're a good doctor, people respect you and they know you. Or when you're a good engineer and you're in a workplace and you do things well, and people have, you know, a life crisis or something, or you develop a friendship with them, they respect your opinion. And that makes a credible case for Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
In the workplace.
Absolutely.
We want to make a case for Christ using our credibility.
Spot on.
It's fantastic.
Spot on.
We want to make a case for Christ. That just came to me. Just figured it out now.
There you go, mate. Don't need AI for that one.
I only trust AI to draft emails. It's good for emails. Or, you know, it's funny. I have some people who actually ask questions to AI. You know, should I buy this? What should I do today? It's fantastic. But we want to make a case for Jesus Christ using our professional prestige. I remember Archbishop Fisher when he became Bishop of Parramatta, and I was in year 9, year 10. I had a reversion that year. Attended Catholic Adult Education Centre, fantastic place, and had a reversion to faith. But I remember finding out that Archbishop Fisher was a lawyer. He worked at one of the top law firms. And he was a bioethicist. He had a doctorate from Oxford. And something stuck with me. I just, that respect there, that I just thought, he's not just a bishop. He's a bishop and he's a cleric, but wow, the level of professionalism And I met other clergy, who had attended universities and prestigious university, and you just look at it differently.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. And it's not about academia. It's about you could be the best plumber in Sydney.
Absolutely.
You could be the best
totally.
carpenter in Sydney, best builder in Sydney, whatever profession we are.
So
we want to be the best.
So exactly. So this is coming back to the thing of working as a young professional. You have to be ambitious. Being ambitious and trying to get at the top of your game as a young professional is very, very good. But we have to realize that we don't swing to the other to an extreme where we start to think that, hang on, this is the only thing that matters, and that we throw our faith out with
That's humanism.
Yeah, it becomes too humanistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so our faith, if we try and live it, tries to bring us back to find that median path.
Wow.
Okay, going between the extremes of becoming, in that sense, professionalitis, suffering from profession, career, and being really ambitious, and to the other extreme, which is I have no idea what I want to do. I'm totally lost, and we have to try and we have to be ambitious, but our faith and our prayer life, our love of God and service of the others will help to moderate that extremism.
Wow.
Of being overly professional in what we're doing.
Yeah.
And same thing with relationships, love. Our faith will help us to find that right path for. There's no right one path. Everyone has their own path, but there is a right path for each one of us. It's for us to find, and with a good prayer life, with a good relationship with our Lord, He can help guide us.
Amazing. So Josemaria speaks about making few but good resolutions. And here on the Catholic Toolbox, we like to end with 3 practical tools. So what are some 3 practical tools that young professionals, whether they're in university, all the way up to, they've just started their career, in the first 5 years of their career, what are 3 practical tools that they can take action with to sanctify themselves and grow in formation in this area?
First and foremost, you need to do your prayer. You need to meditate.
Yeah.
I mean, these days you say, what do we do? I actually tell my students, I meditate every day. And they go, oh, meditate. They think, thinking up there like a...
Tai Chi, Feng Shui.
Yeah, exactly. But that to me is the fundamental idea is to connect with God.
I love the way you put it, meditate. Yeah.
So you meditate is you're connecting with God. You're talking with. We call it prayer, but the more trendy way of saying it these days is to call it meditation. But that's what it is. You're praying. You're developing a one-on-one relationship with God.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I tell you, you have to do it every day. Not some days. Don't binge on it. Binging means you do a lot one day and then do nothing the next.
Okay.
Do a lot one, and then you sort of swing. No, do it constantly.
Maybe
every day.
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
You have to develop. It's like going.
Consistency.
It's like going to the gym. Maybe you can only do it for 10 minutes.
Have a conversation.
But then next time it's 20. You sort of build it up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the second thing.
Number 2.
Is you need to have others, someone to guide you in this. Okay, you can't do this on your own. Okay, so having others that you can go to and talk with sincerely, especially if they're a kind of mentor who understands you in terms of the profession that you're in, the circumstances that you have, and can try to give you, if you like, unbiased advice.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't do this by yourself. Okay?
Yeah. You need some kind of fraternity, friendship,
somebody
to guide
well,
you.
it's more like guidance,
Yeah,
mentoring.
Mentoring.
Okay? Someone with faith
Yeah.
who can guide you in this.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily have to be from the same profession.
Yeah.
But can sort of see things in a, give you, in that sense, unbiased opinions about what you could do.
Okay.
Okay. And I think the other one is, I've sort of mentioned it already. The first two is things to do with faith and guidance. The other one is be ambitious. Okay? Be ambitious in your profession. Try to be the best in your game. But at the same time, because if you pray, as I said, the idea of going to that extreme of becoming overly professional and trying to, that becomes your only thing in life.
Yeah.
I work a lot with students, very, very smart students who end up going to work for all the top investment banks, all the what do you call it, consulting firms, all the top jobs that people are trying to go for.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of them. And this is the thing that I see. They're very, very ambitious, but I have to look, hey, you need to know how to find a good medium between just going after the best all the time, and knowing how to have that balance of life. Okay? So as a Christian, having a prayer life balances off being very ambitious.
Yeah.
Okay? And having a guide in the middle to sort of, help you to navigate those difficult things in your life, especially as a young professional. Those are the three, if you like, tips that I would give to young professionals.
Absolutely amazing. 3 solid tips. And look, thank you so much for being with me here on the show.
My pleasure.
It's an absolutely great discussion with you.
Fantastic.
And hopefully we'll have you again. So don't forget to subscribe to the Catholic Toolbox Show. Go to thecatholictoolboxshow.com. That is thecatholictoolboxshow.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast at The Catholic Toolbox. Go to The Catholic Toolbox and you can find your podcast. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for tuning into the show. I'm your host and founder, George Manassa. Until next week, God bless, take care, and take action. In this era of grave spiritual crisis, it is not enough to simply know about your Catholic faith. That is why we need a Catholic toolbox to equip us with the practical skills necessary to live our Catholic faith to reach our ultimate goal, which is heaven for all eternity. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for the Catholic Toolbox as we hand you the tools to go forth, live the faith, and change our modern world today. Live on the Voice of Charity.